Yo, what's good? So I was looking at the year-end awards, and I saw that BoxRec gave the fight of the year to a fight that took place in Japan. It was Sho Kimura versus Kosei Tanaka, and that took place on September 24th of last year in Japan. Now, I will admit that a lot of times I don't watch fights because of the weight class and because of the fighters, because I don't know who they are, because I can't pronounce their names. Now, that doesn't mean they're not good, but it also doesn't mean that I'm going to watch their fight. So these guys are flyweights, and I got to give it up to them. I got to give it up to a lot of Japanese fighters, man. So this guy, Tanaka, it was his 12th fight, and already he's fighting for a world title in his second weight class. And his opponent, Kimura, it's barely his 20. It's barely his 21st fight. Now, that's not too uncommon nowadays, but it's still very few fights to be fighting for a world title, especially 12 fights to be fighting for your second world title in your second weight class. But these guys gave it to each other. Now, this is not a review. This is not an underrated fights. This is not part of that series. Maybe I could make a video on that in the future, but it's not that. This video is not that. I'm just saying, did we miss the best fight of 2018? I missed this fight. I didn't watch it. Did you? I know some of you boxing nerds, some of you, dare I say, boxing snobs are going to be like, yeah, I watched it. I watched this fight. I watch every flyweight, every fight that comes out of Japan, every fight that's in Cambodia, every fight in Kazakhstan, every fight in the smallest pueblo in Mexico. I will admit that I'm kind of a snob for Mexican boxing, because I watch Box Azteca and BN Sports. But no, I'm not a snob when it comes to that. I just acknowledge these guys as good fighters. Like Jaime Munguia. Yes, I watched him fight before. Canelo, I watched him since he was 17 years old. Yeah, most of these guys aren't going to be anybody. Well, most of these guys aren't going to be world champions, I should say. But they're still very exciting to watch. And fights like these are very exciting to watch. The level of skill that these guys display in a 12-round fight of constant action, it is just awesome. I've said this for years. You don't have to fight like Guillermo Rigando. You don't have to fight like Floyd Mayweather in a boring style, jabbing once or twice around and moving. Yes, those guys are extremely skilled, but they're not always the most fun to watch. You could be very skilled. I always say one of the highest display of skill happened in the first Eric Morales versus Barrera fight, and that's one of the greatest fights to ever take place. This was one of those fights. Not as great as those fights, but one of those fights that these guys were displaying extreme skill. Tanaka, man, beautiful footwork, good body work, good jab. Man, this guy's is completing combinations, throwing right hooks to the body from the outside, and then uppercuts. And I'm just going to check his name real quick. And Kimura, man, constant pressure, didn't give up this whole fight. Uppercuts as well, combinations. This excites me at this time because I don't see this a lot. I don't see fighters throwing too much combinations nowadays. You get even skilled guys like Spencer Crawford. They throw one or two punches and then move. One or two punches and then get out of the way. But these guys, combinations throughout the fight, kind of like Chocolatito versus Sorong Versailles. That was a great fight. And this was a great fight just like that. So now I said why you had to watch it. But would I consider this the fight of the year? Well, No. There were a couple times where a fighter looked like he was hurt, but he would just recuperate because they were so good. They were in such great condition. None of them was ever on the verge of being knocked out. There were no knockdowns. It was back and forth, but I think that's what you need in a fight of the year. I thought Lara Hurd was fight of the year. Lara Hurd was better than this fight. Not a knock on this fight, of course, but this was not fight of the year in my opinion. I think it was better than Sorong Vasai versus Estrada, and that's saying a lot because I love that fight. I was there. How many times do I have to say that? Is it better than Wilder Ortiz? I think it's a better fight. But would I rather watch Wilder versus Ortiz than this? Yeah. Would I rather watch Wilder Fury than this? Yeah. Just big guys going at it like they did. I also didn't watch Usyk fight Brady's. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. So maybe that fight was even better than this. There's a couple fights that I would rather watch than this fight, than Kimura versus Tanaka. But I have to say, I have to take my hat off to these guys, and that if there's a rematch, I will watch it. If these guys are fighting again, I will watch it. And no longer am I not going to watch a fight just because they're Japanese, just because I can't pronounce their name, just because it takes place in another country. That is not a good enough reason for me not to watch the fight. Now, if I didn't hear about it, that's another thing. But thanks everybody for watching. What do you guys think? If you watch this fight, is it fight of the year? If you haven't, go watch it. Please, for your own sake, go watch it.